Yo, yo, yo. That's your time?
What's happening?
What's good, man?
Ain't shit, man. You know what I'm saying? In the mix. In the mix, trying to get the fix.
Trying to get the fix. Another Sunday, another episode of Funky Money.
Yeah. Bonus
Let's talk
episode.
bonus episode, right? We're supposed to be off this week.
Yeah, we off this week. This is a bonus episode.
All right. So talk to me. Why is today's episode happening, Ty?
So I've been focused all week on trying to get this number one album. So I haven't really been paying attention to nothing but Bad Bunny for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? When you in a fight, you can't think about the fight that happened last week or the fight that's gonna happen next week. You in that real fight. So a lot of the things that don't really add value to that actual fight, you know what I'm saying? You don't really just pay attention to it. Cause I had a Bad Bunny on my ass all week trying to get this number one album, in the country. And so when you battling with a motherfucker got 41 million followers and you got, 2.5 and y'all neck and neck, nobody want to get beat by the underdog. So they started paying attention and made my job a little different because we couldn't slide in easily and kind of like secretly get a win. It became like a public conversation. So there's a lot of things that I didn't really catch wind of pertaining to, the different album reviews and the critics and things of that nature, which I think all of those different things are important, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few of my team members hit me about it, and then one of my OGs hit me and was just like, had some choice words about it. And I was like, dang, let me listen to this thing because I ain't really paid attention to it, right? So I listened to it, and that's when it kind of hit me like, dang, what is good content? But I want to start by saying, I don't know Joe Budden. I don't know him personally. And I have nothing against Joe Budden. But I just want to speak about him in a professional manner on the content that he makes, since it was so much opinion about the content that we make, right? And me and you spoke about this briefly, that, I was following the Joe Budden show when it was on SoundCloud. It's actually the first podcast that I actually really was tapping into because I was like, oh shit, I like this. These some niggas just talking about some shit, cultural shit. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really have no guests. It was just niggas sitting down in the room, figuring it out on SoundCloud for free. You know what I'm saying? Come up shit. Real great content. Mm-hmm. And then as the years grow and it got popular, it's like, people was going to the show trying to see what they was talking about with Joe, Rory, Mal, everything that they was discussing, and really trying to it started to be a thing. And then when the Spotify thing happened, with that being very innovative and being one of the leading podcasts on that platform, all of these things was happening. I'm like, yo, this shit's fire, right? But then the Rory and Mal exit kind of really plateaued the content. Right. So like now today, I'm sitting here, I'm like, dang, this show really ain't good no more. Like they're not, they're not really doing the research to like be educated about the content that they're talking about. Joe is to a certain degree, but everybody else on there is just like, they just there picking up a check. Doesn't feel like it's a better show once Rory and Mal left, right? And then, it gets deeper into like a character thing, like, dang, extra man's out for the check. But it's like I said, I don't really know Shaw like that, so I don't know what kind of character he got. So we're going to stick to the actual content of the show, right?
Yes, sir.
What came to my attention more so was about his feelings and thoughts about Brent's album, and lazy songwriting or nasally voice and things of that nature, right? And so the first thing that came to my mind was, well, we don't make music for niggas, right? We don't make music for niggas, and we don't dress to impress niggas. Like that's our main thing over here. Like we don't make music for niggas. So him not liking the music really don't surprise me, right? But when you're watching visual content of a black man that has a platform who disdains your art in a way that he throws his headphones off of his ear, it makes me feel like it's deeper than rap, right? Now,
I got you.
No pun intended, his rap career wasn't more popping than Brent's career, but that's a whole nother different conversation to be had if we get deep into the insults, right? So I was just listening to the critique about lazy songwriting. You know, this song is terrible. The production is terrible. And then it gets into the thing like, dang, so Dream is terrible. The Neptunes is terrible. No ID is terrible. Raphael Sadiq is terrible. Alicia Keys is terrible. You know, all of the young talented, all of these black men and women that put the effort into this project is terrible, right? Which for me was very alarming because it wasn't just about, you know, this is not my cup of tea, right? It was more like, I hate this nigga. But then in the same breath, it's like, I don't really know him personally. So I want to make sure I'm repeating myself like, this is not really about him personally. This is about the music, right? But yo, what it sounds like is an old nigga that fucks and have a lot of different conversations with younger women, and all the young women are playing Brent shit, and he can't escape it, right? It's like, I can't escape this nigga, so I'm forced to listen to it, but now I don't like it. And now I'm just going to go out and I'm going to really bash it because what Pitchfork did was a critique.
Right.
They critiqued it. They put their ins and outs where they believed about it, and they left it at that. Whether you agree with it or not. But what bro was doing sound like disrespectful.
Right. You didn't take it as criticism. You took it as disrespect.
Nah, it was disrespectful. It wasn't. It's criticism when you're like, yo, the songwriting lazy. It's not my cup of tea. You know, whatever the other critiques are, and you keep it going, right? But when you're like, I hate this shit, and you throwing your headphones, get this shit out of my ear, that's disrespectful.
That is disrespectful.
That ain't critique. That's not journalism. That's not reporting the news. That is, once again, a black man unnecessarily tearing down another black man. We're not talking about Stephen A. and what's my man? Skip Bayless, where they're like, they're critiquing numbers, statistics, the things that are happening, right? Until they can't. Sports is really black and white in that way. Like, hey man, if you ain't hitting the game with a 3 and you the superstar, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? You're getting paid a lot of money to hit them shots. But there's nothing in that critique from an analyst, from a journalist, that is like, I hate this. Get this shit out of my ear. And like, you can see the disdain and the throwing the headphones. So it feels like there's something deeper there. And it makes me think like, is your girlfriend playing this Brent too much and you really don't like it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what is the deeper aspect of it? Because it's not criticism, it's disrespect. And it's one of the things that happens on that show now, why it's plateaued. It's not uplifting anymore. It used to be uplifting with Rory and Mal, who had a certain level of character about themselves on how they saw different art and how they defended different things that they didn't agree on, versus the uneducated, uninformed if people that are actually working on the project, that's working on the podcast as of right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, with me, we still with the niggas that we started with. Period. So whenever I see niggas that's not with the niggas they started with, I'm always gonna look at their character and be like, hey man, you know, that nigga just ain't made like the type of nigga that we made about. Right? That's not how we made up. So that's a character thing, and that's one of them things where I'm just gonna be like, yo, nigga, you extra man out for a check. That's not criticism. That's me judging your character, and that's the same equivalence to you being like, I hate this shit. Get this shit out of my ear, and you're visually throwing the earphones and almost hit your man's in your head that's sitting right beside you, right?
Okay, let's talk about content real fast, right? What is it about content you think is good when it's not based on uplifting?
Listen, I think content is subjective,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who is actually listening to it. You know what I'm saying? Um, there are women that listen to Future. Future has very, very, bad content, in my opinion, when it comes to women. But there's a population of women that enjoy Future for what it is at the time that they want to hear it.
It's music.
It's
Still
music.
music.
It's still music at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, I've met Future in person. Future has such a bright and happy, like fun spirit. Like he's having the time of his life every day. That don't always reflect in the music, because the music is about the whole experience. The good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I'm saying? So when you're critiquing, it's good, the bad, the ugly. Right. And when you're talking about what content is good or what content is
Hey, you there, Todd? Feel like we lost him.
my bad,
Yeah.
I lost. What's the last thing you heard me say? I had lost you.
Man, you were talking about good content and bad content.
Yeah, I was saying that whenever I have interacted with Future, like he's having the best time of his life. But when he's creating the content from like a holistic approach on how he's experiencing life or how he has experienced life. You know what I'm saying? He's not speaking from a standpoint of like absolute. So good content to me is always going to be subjective based on the listener. Like you may hear something and be like, man, this is incredible to me. Then I may hear something and be like, yo, it's all right. I can understand this, that, and the third, but I ain't really sold on it. So for me, good content is strictly based upon the person that's receiving it and how it relates to their day-to-day journey.
And I remember very early on, you told me a story about when you first started working with Brent, about how you played it for some guys, and the way they received it was more negative than when you played it for women. So that told you something very early on.
1,000%.
And you still see that to this day.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. It's like men are either introduced to the music by their women, rather it's their wife or it's their, a woman they're dating or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But the thought process of this, how it's discovered, is through women, right? So if you are a man and you don't really like Brent Faiyaz, but you like women, then you're more than likely going to be blowed because that woman is going to be playing the music.
I mean, I just feel like the disdain it just seems crazy to me to think that like a new R&B artist is coming up, right? And it's fun to see a new artist come up. I don't know why it feels like we have to tear down new artists early. I feel like we've seen it historically that new artists are always just trying to get a chance. So even if you don't like something, I think there's a way to articulate to articulate criticism.
Hey.
But again, that's why I wanted you to have the space to talk about this, because you're on the other side where you are producing the music, you are making the album, you are working on the project. Like, I think the word lazy is just unfair to describe almost any kind of art, because to make anything takes a village.
Yeah, and guess what? Like Joe has historically never really liked Brent's voice. He's never really been a full fan of it. So it doesn't surprise me that he don't like the album. What was surprising and where the respect kind of like dwindled is how much how aggressive his visual presentation was towards the music. that's when it's like, you're looking closer and you're like, hold on. If bro got there saying, he trying to tell me, he trying to send me a message? You know what I'm saying? You look at like, you're looking at it with you squinting your eyes like, dang, bro trying to send me a message, because this don't look like the usual, no, this not my cup of tea. Next subject. This look like, yeah, nigga, this shit trash. Say something about it. That's what it looks like. And anybody that actually saw the interview and like, you know, follow that podcast, whatever the case may be, like, multiple people hit me, not because that they disagree that he should like the album. Nobody said, oh, he should like it. Everybody was like, dang, why is he going so hard in a very aggressive way about an artist who he really don't like? He's never really been a champion of Brent Faiyaz. That was always Rory. Maul and Roy was always a fan. You know what I'm saying? So like, he's never really championing of it. So it's almost like, how, like, why does it feel this aggressive? So it's one of them things when you're thinking about it and you're sending a message to your audience, there's nobody that would have looked at that and been like, oh, this is just critique about the music. No, it felt real personal.
I hear you. You know Barry, right? Have you? Yeah, Barry trying to call in. So we bring Barry up to talk about this. He got some amazing artists as well, and I know that they see criticism. I mean, I think that's what makes this conversation interesting. If you work on the business side of art.
Tell my boy Barry in, man. You know, that's my evil twin.
That is your man. You evil enough, honestly. Yeah, I don't think you need an evil twin. There he is. You know, it's his first time using the app, so let's see if we can get on here. Oh, yeah. Yo, Barry. You gotta take yourself off mute.
Yeah, I think you're on mute, so let me see. Gotta hit that little microphone right above. There you go.
There you go. What up, Barry?
Hey, shit, how y'all boys doing, man?
Man, you know, it's another
You're talking.
Hey, man, first and foremost, man, yo, I ain't seen you or heard from you, man, but good is to you alive and breathing and still being the great man that you are.
Man, you owe me a call.
Yeah, bro, I probably owe a lot of niggas a call, bro, you know. Fighting the good man's fight.
I see you.
Fight, always fight.
Hey, man, I was listening, you know, I saw, it's actually funny because I didn't even know the nigga Joe Budden had said nothing until I saw y'all niggas talking about it on Twitter. But you know, like you researching. I heard what you were saying, Ty. How you know you had a week. I just seen you in Vegas. Y'all niggas been having a week. Y'all been having a couple of months where I just been seeing y'all, you know, do what y'all do best and pushing Brit in the brand. And you know, me as your brother, I'm a little disappointed that you even talking about this nigga right now. Because at the end of the day, bro, you gotta already know how this shit go. When a nigga don't understand it, they gonna hate. When they don't get it, they gonna hate. I don't know why in the black community I feel like every time a nigga supersede what a nigga think where a nigga supposed to be, it just ain't a nigga brilliant or a nigga actually good. It's something else outside. Like I think for you, because you in it, you know, your energy and your attachment to it is a little different. But I'm gonna tell you what I saw to me that was very just disturbing. And I seen Joe Budden do this shit a lot. And you know, he comes from an unsuccessful like music career that didn't do what he wanted to do. Now, for whatever reasons, you know, of why it didn't work out. You know, he could have some truth to that, you know, marketing and all these other things, which I can respect the artists, you know, having a distaste in their mouth for the label system or what people do or what it's supposed to look like when it's independent of what is a label. But at the same time, I think my biggest thing is how do you actually get somewhere as a culture or as people when every time a nigga do something amazing, like sell 94,000 or 95, how many of y'all sold #2 album on billboards as an independent black ran company, R&B, especially from a place where, you know, R&B was kind of dying and it's making a resurgence. How could you, you know, disrespect or try to shit on that progressive advancement, whether you like the music or not? You know, I think that was my biggest take from just hearing him speak, was just like, damn, my nigga, it's okay not to like it. You don't have to like it. But then try to dive deep into what is independent, what's not, what's a lie, because, nigga, you wasn't able to accomplish this shit. To me, it's just one of those things I see in our community as far as black men. And I saw Jay-Z say some shit about that shit. It's just like, y'all think a nigga got to do black magic or something, or commit his life to fucking Satan to just actually do something that's amazing. And what's amazing to y'all niggas may not be amazing to the niggas who's actually doing it.
1,000%.
You know, so I think for me, that was just, you know, my concern about his statements. But at the end of the day, you know what they say about a hating nigga, man, a hating nigga don't need no acknowledgement, because what he did was pass, you know, criticism of the product. The nigga tried to deep dive into it, like, not only do I not like the product, but the niggas is lying about being independent, and he can't be independent. And Jay Irvin and Troy Carter is helping, and like, nigga, what the fuck does that mean, nigga? Like, nigga, ownership and having control of your product is independence, nigga. Hiring a marketing company, nigga, that or whatever you want to do, nigga, that's not even up for debate, nigga. You know.
And that is why I'm on the call, because if you don't speak out towards those different things, it can create this misconstrued narrative, right? You know what I'm saying? Just so that we clear on all of these different frontiers of it. We put our music out through STEM. Venice is a black-owned company that ain't owned by a major label, that's ran by a black man. That's my partner, that's been fucking with us since 2016, who we had a really cool conversation about partnering with to add high-level marketing to build on what we have been building on for the last 7 years. We put up our own money, we hired our own team, and we created our own global partnerships over the past 5 years of building it up to get to this point. So when we start talking about independent, what's different between this is that we're a company that has put in the time to build something that don't look like a regular independent company. Point blank, period. And so, Barry, it's one of those things where it has to be addressed, because if not, for what you just said about like how niggas try to define what's independent, like, no, it's market share from a standpoint of a major label don't own these different aspects of it. And Jay Irvin isn't involved with the rollout of this project. Jay Irvin is actually human resources, and he's gladly running a successful business under the guidance and the leadership of him and his partnership with Sony. They have nothing to, Jay Irvin had nothing to do with the actual project. But these are the conversations that needs to be had, because he think that this is a Chance the Rapper thing, and it's not to throw no knock on Chance the Rapper. When Chance was on the show with him, he was like, "Oh, you just call up Apple." No, nigga, we just didn't call up Apple, nigga. This is literally 7 years of a build up. So if you're trying to be independent and you're trying to grow your business globally, we just you just seen 7 years of work in 1 week of sales. You know what I'm saying? So when a nigga like that start talking about fuck the music, fuck how lazy the album, fuck all your critique, when you start shooting in the holes of what the truth is, and the truth is, nigga worked for 7 years to build a team to be able to compete with a nigga named Bad Bunny, who has all the firepower in the world to try to get #1. That's the facts. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want everybody on this call to understand, is like, yeah, build your business, figure out your strategic partnerships, take your time, make sure that your client is mentally in the right place, because it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of draining that's going to pull out of them and your entire team. You know what I'm saying? But when you got a nigga like that, that's really just saying one thing that's criticism, and then he started like go deep into what's independent, what's not independent. That's the issue that I'm more so speaking towards outside of like the disdain and the aggressive energy towards another black man. You know what I mean? That has to be addressed. Because if it don't be addressed by the niggas that actually doing it, then it's going to be this false narrative that's being created. And I ain't going to address every motherfucker, but this a nigga that just got a history of saying shit that's wild and that's not really accurate at times, that it ain't going to, I'm not going to let it sit on my name because we put too much work into it, and it's disrespectful to anybody who is working outside of the major label system, who's trying to achieve these things that seem to be not in your favor.
Well, you know what's crazy about this shit? Is that, you know, me and you have a lot of conversations about this shit, and me and Yo too. You know, we all have sat down and we spoke about a lot of these things. Is that, you know, the thing that I'm super like, I don't know, I became super fascinated with in the music business is how much the process isn't discussed anymore. You know, we got so caught up in shorthanded content and these flash in the sky moments, you know, that the music business has been sold to niggas like niggas don't have to really do the work. And I think another thing to me that's so impressive is just watching y'all niggas grow this shit. Like, I remember when Brett was just over here, not really being where he's at right now. Like, y'all niggas was just trying to really figure it out. I remember talking to you multiple times about, nigga, why you ain't signing no deal? Nigga, you better get it while it's hot. Nigga, what is you thinking? And you just like, nigga, fuck these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a double down and do me. You know, that's kind of where we differ at sometimes. It's like, nigga, I feel you, but shit. But, you know, to kind of see it, you know, 7 years later and know that you compete with, I mean, if I'm correct, I think Bad Bunny and them niggas is independent too. I think the story that niggas should be talking about is how Bad Bunny has been fucking damn near number one, and Brent Faiyaz come with a motherfucking damn near number one album, goddamn independent as R&B. Should be talked about how niggas are now understanding their power and able to buck the system if the system's not really working for you, or if it compromises your creativity or your financial stance on what you got doing. Because it's two independent niggas with two of the biggest albums.
1,000%. And that should be, you know, that should be the
That's
narrative.
the conversation, but niggas don't want that to be the narrative, because you know if that becomes the narrative, it fucks up the market share.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 1,000%.
It fucks up the ideal of what it takes to get there.
If you start planting them seeds in the 15-year-old creator today, that you can do this how you want to do it, but you got to build your community. You got to build your thing. They ain't finna go sign no major label. They gonna look at all they cool artists that they really like. They was big without a major label. That's gonna sacrifice this traditional system for the next 20 years, because when they 21, they've been spending the last 5 years researching the niggas that did it before them that didn't go through a major label to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same way how we studied Master P or Bad Boy or Jay-Z. Like, shit, but we got to get it like how they did it. Like, these next generation of kids, it's important for them to know, bro, that nigga lying. He don't know shit about nothing. He wasn't even successful in music. He don't even know the business of it, how the business has shifted. He's a podcaster. This is what the truth is. If you want to do it this way, it takes time, it takes grit, it takes effort. You got to be dedicated. You got to be loyal to your team. You got to be willing to invest your money. And you got to be willing to do all of the work.
For sure.
And you got to be willing to come in second, third, fourth, 20th until you get to that point. You know what I'm saying? How many records did Tyler, the Creator, put out before he had the #1 album? And we know Tyler started independent, started doing all that stuff independent. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, bro, listen, I'm a super, you know, listen, let's keep it a buck. I'm a super, and I say this with all due love, because ain't no nigga more talented on the earth to me than Chris Brown. Yep. But let's talk about how niggas outsold Chris Brown, who's the fucking damn near, who should really be the king in R&B.
Yeah,
You know, this is not a knock on what Chris Brown did, but this is just saying a new era of an artist,
Come on.
a new time, a new black creator and company has found a way to successfully market their art, build their art, stick with their fans, and deliver something that people thought well enough to scream as it had major label significance put into it. Like, to me, the whole idea of a nigga not understanding how this shit works, and like I say, for me, bro, that was the biggest part. To me, it's just like, nigga, like, it's okay for you to not like something. Nigga, I don't like a lot of shit.
I don't like a lot of shit.
I don't like a lot of shit neither. Like, that's just what it is, nigga. In life, I tell niggas all the time, bro, music is two ways, nigga. You either like the shit or you don't. You could try to dive deep into this shit. We the only people in music. Music critics and music people are the only niggas I know try to dive so deep into some shit as if they do it every day. I ain't never seen a nigga not like some medicine and be like, nigga, Johnson & Johnson didn't use the right baby powder and the goddamn, they didn't do this and they used the wrong chemicals. Nigga, you don't know shit about baby powder, nigga. You either fuck with that shit or you don't, nigga. Like, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. And we the only niggas that criticize music like everybody's a fucking expert. And the problem with me is that, like, nigga, just because you wasn't able to find independent success or know that this shit is possible, didn't have the right team or didn't have the right mindset at the time, whatever, don't go talking about some shit that you don't know what the fuck you talking about. And just because you nigga on the radio and you got some fame and some importance and niggas don't put you on a couple goddamn shows, don't mean you know what the fuck you talking about, nigga. You know how many niggas I come across in this music business every day that got titles and SVPs and EVPs and all types of shit by their name, and I'd be like, damn, you's a dumbass nigga.
Niggas don't be understanding, don't have none of the information. Shit be false or inaccurate, all the type of shit.
Like, nigga, what? Like, I'd be like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? You be so crazy and amazed how many of these niggas are just not saying they don't even have just out the fucking loop.
1,000%.
I was about to say, Barry, let's talk about how much the game has changed since you entered the music business. Because you've been in it for a while. Nigga, from the time Wiz was 16 to Mac was 15 to the time Travis was 18, nigga, I watched the music business go literally from, nigga, you needing radio to you no longer, to niggas got so tired of the music being so fucking contrived to make radio hits, to it went to fucking blogs and curating your own vibes and niggas like Kendrick Cole breaking, nigga, to playlisting being a key component to TikTok. Like, nigga, it's so like to you just needing the music to be a star, to then have to become a social star. Damn near, nigga, you pretty much, nigga, the whole nigga, it damn near all rise on the artist right now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to. It was a time when you could be a star and not be so fucking in front of everything. Like it wasn't a lot of slots. So, nigga, if you was on TRL or 106 and Park, nigga, you had a shot. If your shit just got to the radio, nigga, you had a shot. Nigga, the radio don't even play you until they see, nigga, everybody else don't give you a shot. Nigga, the song is damn near 6, 7, 8 months old for the radio catch up. So it's the discovery process of this shit has changed so much. And the simple fact that everybody now is like, nigga, a star is, everybody think they're a star. You got Instagram stars, you got goddamn fake model stars, you got Instagram model stars, you got, nigga, the shit so fucked up. They paying niggas to come to the club to do little dance moves and shit that got popping on the internet. He might go get a 7,500. It's niggas who managing influencers and niggas that do dances now. You damn near ain't gonna even book the artist half the time. You can go book another little nigga for the 7,500 because people so infatuated right now about what's going on. It's just the game has changed to the point where, like, everybody, including regular motherfuckers that work at a desk job, at motherfucking a fucking Chick-fil-A, everybody trying to be a star. Yep. So, like, you know, the game is just different. That's why what Brent was able to do and Ty, what y'all actually accomplished is so, like, in the space of where music is at is so incredible. So, you know, for me, it's just like, I feel you, bro. Like, this shit just, I just think I just hate false narratives and misinformation.
That's it. That's the only thing. That's the only thing we really here to talk about. Because when we're talking about you money, you can't get the fuck you money for nigga feeding you the wrong punch. You know what I'm saying? For niggas saying, hey, go that way, but really you supposed to be going right, you're gonna be chasing your tail. So if we here to be informed, we here to educate, you know what I mean? It has to be the right narrative and it has to be addressed. Because you know how it goes. If you don't say nothing, it keeps spreading, and next thing you know, it's the young person like, dang, I really thought that they was independent. I want to do my shit just like that.
It's crazy because chart data it's funny because we talk about this shit and chart data just said exactly what I said. It says independent albums hold the top 2 spots on this week's Billboard 200. For the first time, this has occurred since November 2019, nigga. Brent and motherfucking Bad Bunny hold the 2 top spots, nigga. So for a nigga like to even open their mouth when it's historically showing things that can change should be the only conversation. And that should be, and that shit right there should get y'all niggas every motherfucking major magazine cover in the motherfucking world because nigga, that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas,
that's history.
Yeah,
that is history. Niggas said fuck it.
That's when we talking about when a nigga is like, I support independence. I support owning my own shit. Nah, really, you don't.
You don't.
You don't. Because if you did, you'd have seen like, oh, we got to make a moment about this. And this got to be the right moment. We can't fuck this up.
He could have brought you over there and said, I don't fuck with this, but nigga, the simple fact that you beat the motherfucking system, I'm fucking with you.
Period.
That's all he talks about. That's all he talks about. Is shit on the label. And they ain't do shit. But when a nigga do something outside of a label, then he really didn't do it.
Yeah. And that's where the I agree with you. If it was just about the distaste in the music, I wouldn't have said nothing. But when I started digging into it, I'm like, wait a minute, bro. It wasn't even talking about Brent no more. It feel like nigga talking to me. Like, you lying ass nigga, y'all ain't independent nigga. You lying to these people out here. So I just felt like niggas was attacking my character and how we roll and the message that we put out. Cause you know me, I'm betting my life on this independent shit.
Yeah, nigga, you crazy about this shit.
You know what I'm saying? I bet my whole shit. Nigga asked me the other day, hey, boy, who publishing your book? But we selling this bitch out the back of the trunk, nigga.
Yeah, you crazy, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how that shit get out of the world, nigga.
We gotta get you a copy, man.
You know
nigga, he crazy, bro. That nigga just kind of.
So it's almost like you like, hold on, bro. You goddamn, you talking crazy right now about us not doing and taking these risks. You know what I'm saying? Taking these risks with these independent packs. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Makes sense, bro.
You know what I mean? But
man, Barry, thank you for calling in, Barry. We really appreciate you.
Hey, man, I love y'all. Man. Y'all keep doing y'all independent motherfucking thing. Congratulations. At the end of the day, talk your shit, Ty, nigga. You deserve that shit. I
love you, my nigga. I appreciate you. You independent as well. Your independence just look a little different, but it's the same method. You get some fuck you money so that you can say, hey, I don't want to do that no more. You can walk away from it. And you
love y'all, boy. Hold it down. I'm listening.
My dog.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm glad Barry called in because, you know, I really wasn't taking no callers on this one, but I'm glad he timed in because Barry is extremely smart. And, you know, and the things that he's able to create with Earth Gang and Jig and Sofrago and like his history with Mac and Wiz and Hardo and Travis and Tip, you know, with us being the same generation, he's one of my peers. And I'm very appreciative that he's putting his light on it from a standpoint of like, yo, bro, like all thing I would say is he shouldn't be putting the false narratives out. Like and dislike what you like, And that makes me understand that I'm not crazy when I'm responsive to what I'm responding to. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're going to stand behind what we're trying to achieve and how we're trying to plant these seeds into the new generation of music creators and new generations of managers and new generations of executives, it's like, no. You can go and do whatever deal you feel fit your lifestyle at the moment. But just know that there's another way as well, that you don't have to deal with people that is not from the culture criticizing and signing off on music that you created that is, black music, that you really just getting opinions from black people and approvals from black people about black art. You know what I'm saying? If I was putting out a country record with a white artist, I'm going to be like, hey, man, country artist, country executive that got all the experience and the wisdom, show me the way. I don't know nothing. The talent trusts me, but I don't know nothing about country music. I didn't come up from that cloth. I'm going to stand aside and take the back seat because I'm not the one that is from that culture. And so all we're doing is creating a very loud vehicle. And this shit going to get louder because I've been sitting back cooking and turning knobs for about 6 years, just waiting for the moment to come out and say, this is what we've been working on. I'm not saying it's going to take you 7 years. It took me 7 years, so it'll only take you 3. It took me 7 years for it to only take you 4. You see what I'm saying? Because we're going to give all the knowledge. We're going to drop all the books. We're going to give all the information. It's the same thing that if anybody haven't seen the Jay-Z and Kevin Hart interview, go look at that shit on Peacock. I purchased the goddamn subscriber, paid that $5, $6 so I can get that wisdom. Because all Jay was saying about Rock Nation was like, we took this infrastructure and said, look, it took us to 37 to get to this point. We give you this infrastructure at 26. You're going to achieve it at 29, what we was able to achieve at 37. You know, so I'm 38 right now. So if I give a young manager and their team this infrastructure at 24, by the time they 29, they've already achieved what we achieved. It took us till we was 38. That's really what all this shit is about. All the billboard shit. When you see this radio campaign we're going to put out, when we put our own money up, when you see this Grammy campaign, we did our own research. All we doing is saying, this is the structure. This is the infrastructure. This is the information. This is what they ain't telling you. This is the first door, the second door, and the third door. Before, we didn't even know that the second door existed, but it's a third door too. And all we doing is gathering all that information, making sure we cooking that shit, so that when we tell everybody, yo, this is what we did. This is how we did it. This is how we acquired 20 properties in the last 3 years. This is how we acquired multi-million dollars in tech investments. This is how we did this. This is how we ran up and able to build not just businesses for Brent, business for all the producers that he worked with, businesses for any artist that's in our infrastructure. This is how we did it. So I can't have nobody. I don't give a fuck if it's Joe Budden. I don't give a fuck if it's Joe Biden. I don't give a fuck who it is, nigga. If we doing something that's meant to impact the black community, we can't have a nigga that's black disturbing or putting out false narratives that's going to discourage the black community for owning the very thing that can create wealth for the black community. That's it.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? And you can crank up that road. You can crank that fuck you talking about, because that's all I got to say. And this is the only podcast. This is the only live show. We recording this. I'm dropping this one because this is the one I want everybody to goddamn run up and reshare and repeat, because it's very important. Nobody should be spreading false narratives when you really do the work, when you really put the grind in, when you really see everybody celebrating, when you sitting in the corner trying to really figure out if you even good enough. You know what I'm saying? Is your voice loud enough? You know what I mean? We full of black men and black women. And all of us younger than 40 years old. All of us are under 40. You know what I'm saying? I might be the oldest at 38. Everybody else younger. So like, yes, this shit coming out. I don't give a fuck about this Amazon contract exclusive shit I got. This shit coming out tonight if I can get it up and on iTunes and Apple, whatever the fuck I can put it on to make sure that it's loud, that everybody understand that, yo, this is a real thing. This ain't fake. This real numbers, real effort put into these different things. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we did marketing. Yes, we did advertisements. We did everything the major label do. It just so happened this week we did it better. And hopefully on the next album that we drop, that it's a #1, and it's a #1 for 10 weeks or 20 weeks. Because by the time we get to that point, we done figured out something else that we didn't know this time around. I've already learned this time around something to use for the next time around that we didn't know before. Just information. So we taking them bullets so that we can give all of the armor and the and yo, we're gonna figure this shit out and we're gonna drop it so that people can actually share it, sit with it, and understand. I want it to be loud. Because we can't have another black. This is that black on black crime shit that I'm talking about in the book. You know what I'm saying? But yo, you know, I got the song, play the song, fuck you talking about by Brent Faiyaz, God damn it.
Man, bro, we gotta call Amazon. They ain't got Wasteland on here yet.
Man, see, that's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
It's like one of them things where it's like, hey, man, like Amazon is it's like one of those things where it's like that. So we ain't playing shit. We're gonna end it. Thank everybody, all 56 plus people that joined and talk about this. We're gonna put this out so that these 56 people can, for this only time in this actual season of this contract with Amazon, that we're gonna drop it and make sure that people can share it and tune in and check it out later. You know what I mean?